Hello and welcome to the CX Innovators podcast. I'm Judy Model, editor of Retail Customer Experience. Today we're talking loyalty programs and rewards and how critical they are for retailers, given the increasing numbers of consumers wanting and expecting a robust, rewarding loyalty program. And while consumer loyalty programs are more popular than ever, not all brands are delivering on expected experiences. And that comes from a Bond Loyalty Report 2025. So consumers are participating in 17.4 loyalty programs on average. And while members continue to record high positive attitudes towards the programs overall, year over year there are declines in overall satisfaction. So loyalty program members want more ways to earn, more ways to redeem, and more than half, 76%, want transactional rewards such as discounts and cashback options. And that's from a Entavo report, Global Customer Loyalty Report 2025. So our guest today is Len Covello, CTO at Engage People, a global loyalty provider. So Len oversees a long-term vision and Engage People and is responsible for driving continued innovation. Engage People was recently recognized as the 2025 Finovate Award winner for its Access Plus program, which won the award for Best Consumer-Facing Payment Solution. And so a little quick background on Len. He started in tech at the age of 18, most recently served as the director and CTO of Access, formerly known as LRG Rewards. His top passion is web-based application design and development across a wide variety of business applications, particularly when it comes to user interfaces and process automation. So glad to have you here, Len.
Thanks, Judy. It's a pleasure to be on.
All right, so the consumer is playing a huge role in driving loyalty program innovation. How are consumer preferences driving adoption of new loyalty and payment technologies?
There's a bunch of things that contribute to this. I think the first thing is the consumer has a voice today across everything, and that voice is very loud and it's listened to through the different social channels. And I think that's an advantage, quite honestly. I think to drive innovation and drive change, you obviously need to go to where people are interacting with something, and loyalty is kind of woven into everyday transactions for a consumer. So, what a consumer is seeing is what the art of what's possible. And as the payment world continues to advance and bring just amazing concepts, and I'll say a really nice usable experience for a customer. So with the apps and the neobanks out there, the customer is asking, why doesn't this apply to loyalty? Why can't this currency, which loyalty is, it's just a form of payment, it's a currency, the points are anyways. Why can't I have real-time rewards? And why can't I have a very personalized experience with the advancements of AI and offers? And they're asking those questions, and we're here to answer those questions and to bring technology to the industry so consumers do have that really elegant experience they're yearning for.
So it does seem like loyalty and payments and financial services, as you mentioned, neobank, are all converging. Is there any one thing that's going to have the greatest impact when it comes to loyalty and rewards in 2026?
I think it's the continued evolution of the consumer understanding that the points are a currency. So it's no different than we saw some years ago, the adoption of the BNPL kind of movement where it was another financial model, but customers expected that. And we saw that with different cryptocurrencies and consumer expectation to use those as well. That's the same with loyalty currency. So I'd argue in 2026 and beyond, the consumer is going to just continue to expand their expectations that currency I hold is mine, and I want the utility of that currency. So when I tap to pay for, whether it's transit or I'm buying a coffee or I'm making a major purchase, I expect that currency to be available to me. I'm passionate about it. I earned it. And, Mr. Bank, Mr. Loyalty Program, I want you to do what you have to do in the background to make that a reality.
So this whole idea of the currency is so on point. And, that kind of brings my next question, because one of the latest innovations is pay with points, right? Um, how critical is that for a brand or a retailer to bring into the fold of a loyalty program?
I think it's imperative because it exists today. So you're almost left behind if you don't allow for that as a brand. And it's evolved over time. You know, consumers will go to kind of the path of least resistance or the best optimal experience for them. And loyalty is about keeping someone within your ecosystem. If you're a credit card program, it's how do I have them continuously transact and keep that card top of wallet? If I'm in travel, an airline, how do they fly with me versus the competitor? Right down to if I'm a QSR, you know, why do they pick my restaurant over the one beside it? Why am I buying coffee at Starbucks over, you know, Tim Hortons here in Canada or a Dunkin' in the US? And all of that is driven by the behaviors that you can analyze from a customer through loyalty. And a big thing is the utilization of that currency. So pay with points moving forward is something that needs to be adopted because, again, I've earned those points and I want to spend them. And if I can't do that here, there's a high likelihood that I'm willing to move on to someone else that'll allow that to happen.
You know, it's funny. I'm a huge Amazon person, and when you go into my payments section, there'll be my cards, right? And the ones that have the loyalty point option right there, that's how I decide how I'm going to pay. Because if I have 20, 30 bucks in points, yeah, I'm going to use that, right? So the financial institutions that are doing this well are making it, good buck because maybe I wouldn't have used that card, initially, right? And to me, that is very personal. Like they're saying to me, we're keeping track of your points and we're putting it right in front of you every time you go to shop. So, how important is that personalization and even the impact of AI within that, when it comes to loyalty and rewards?
It's huge. And I love the personal example because we can speak directly to it, Judy, and we'll unpack that because there's a few things at play here. I think first and foremost, pay with points at checkout. The value or the importance of that is the relationship you just talked about is, you may have collected points on a different bank credit card. It's not top of mind because you only see it when you log into the loyalty program. A lot of programs didn't even surface that on their online banking or their web banking. So maybe once a year, if there was something aspirational or a few times a year, you'd redeem for an Amazon gift card. Let's keep that same flow. So you've got this Amazon gift card, you add it to your wallet. And now when you check out, you're not thanking, Bank of America or HSBC for giving you those rewards. You're thinking, I've got an Amazon gift card. And customers typically don't relate back to where they got that. I mean, they can, but in the immediacy, it's just kind of, I have a gift card. And what this has done is that ultimate form of personalization. It said, you're shopping here. We know you want to shop here. So we're going to let you redeem here. And it works for both brands. The credit card company in this case is getting tremendous value because you're seeing the value they're bringing to you. And for a company like Amazon, the lift is there. We see, basket size increase around 30%. We see customers willing to spend more transactionally, ultimately because they're looking at this. I won't call it free money, but it's money it's a little easier to spend. So it's a win-win for all three parties involved: the consumer, the brand, and the retailer.
It's funny you said that because on more than one occasion, right? I go to checkout and I have what I need. And then I look at my points and I think, oh, I have another 30 bucks to spend. Maybe I'll go back in my cart and I'll grab a couple of the things that I was like kind of iffy on. So, you know, and then there's an experience at another retailer where I won't name, but they make finding my points and rewards so difficult. I literally have to click through like, I don't know, 4 screens to hit the apply button and then go back to the cart. And, it makes a difference because I know I probably have rewards there, but it's so much easier over at another brand. I'll just go there and buy the item. So it really, I think, is playing into my everyday shopping on a consistent basis. But now I want to talk about engage people. I want to hear all about his mission and how it's helping retailers provide customers with the loyalty program they crave and how you guys meet consumer expectations.
Yeah, so we're a technology company at heart. It's I get asked the question a lot: is how did you get into loyalty? And it's not by design. I've never met anyone who in high school said I'm going to go to college for loyalty or or understand this. But it's one of these things everyone's passionate about. It's a great conversation starter, and it's a wonderful topic at a dinner party, waiting for a flight to board. So we're technologists at heart. We love solving problems. And I'll always say we've got some of the brightest people in the industry at Engage that probably could solve a problem in any industry. This just happens to be the place we play in is loyalty. So we've got a number, we've productized essentially our offerings because we've seen the same similar demands from all of our clients. And we really made an effort to say, how do we make this as efficient as possible? We know IT resources are always hard to get, and it's always hard to get the budget for this. So we've productized our offerings. And what we bring to the market is the tool set to execute a loyalty strategy. So we're not a strategy company, but we've got the tools to execute anyone's loyalty strategy in the space. And then we've got some burn products. And one of them, like you mentioned, is Access Plus, which is our pay with points technology. So we bring this in, and we bring this in a way that's white label. So we're really not pushing anything onto the brand other than enabling them to do things like pay with points at checkout. And I'm happy to say and proud of our team that the use case you gave about yourself, that's engaged in the background, enabling that and allowing that to happen.
So, how does the technology differentiate from traditional loyalty redemption models?
So the traditional space in loyalty is the earn, and you can go way back to you earned and you got a monthly statement with your points balance, and even that's more advanced.
Right.
It used to be the punch cards or whatnot, or the stickers you collected. But we lived in a world, and I remember a world where you earned, you got a monthly statement, and you got a catalog. The internet was still relatively new, and your value proposition was that balance between how thick of a catalog do I want to print for the cost of delivery, and what items do I think my consumer would want. And that television, that Sony 40-inch big screen TV in the catalog that was aspirational, was there from January to December. And the value proposition wasn't necessarily there for a customer, and it was limited choice. And we thought very early on, as we move into e-commerce and we allow customers to start to redeem online and give them choice, really ultimate choice is that points as a currency. So when we started to evolve our product offering, this is something that we had kind of laser focused on years ago, but it's difficult to implement. It's not something everyone can do. And there's a number of reasons to do that. You've got major brands with arguably legacy systems in place that becomes difficult. And anyone in technology, and you live this world as well through the people you speak to every day, is try to get into someone's checkout process and let them know you want to add something there, and you're years away. And we had to fight through that, but we were persistent, and we had the benefit of some major brands that trusted us. So what we did, I'd argue the base technology isn't the most difficult thing in the world, but in order to do that elegantly, efficiently, monitor for fraud, ensure transactions are happening, they're not repeated. We are a network for payments. So I tell people we're no different than a Visa or a MasterCard. We're just operating in a different currency.
So, if I'm a brand or a retailer and I come to you guys, is there anything I should know beforehand or get my house in order in terms of anything internally in order to have you guys, partner up?
We do our job on our side to make it as easy for brands and partners as well. So, we're highly compliant. We're regulatory. We check all the boxes. So PCI certified, SOC 2 compliant and audited. Because again, like you mentioned, there's a lot of things that have to get checked off in order for this to work. So for a loyalty program, we've done the heavy lifting on our side to make it easier for them. So I'd say, quite honestly, you just need to be open to wanting to do something like this, and we can figure out the rest.
All right. So earlier we were talking about the whole financial merging into loyalty, which is, I think, they were slow to get in for a lot of reasons. But is there anything unique with them, and maybe how to help them reach their customers and start offering this kind of loyalty option?
I think as technology continues to evolve, and probably evolve might be the wrong word, because I think we're there. We've got all the tools sitting in everybody's pocket to really almost make anything possible. So it's just, kind of a willingness to do certain things, and it's also internal, I'll call it stakeholders or champions to do things, because there really is nothing. We used to say this about the web, where there was, everyone got the same 15 inches of monitor space, so there wasn't something that really made it any different for a local QSR to a multinational restaurant. And the same goes now. If you're a neobank starting up, or if you're a major FI that's been around, from early on when the US kind of started, you've got that same app, you've got that same ability with a customer to reach them, to interact with them. So it's really the mission that you're on in order to bring that ideal customer experience. And I'd argue the newer players probably have less kind of red tape and less things in the way to deliver things.
Right, and they don't have that legacy behind them of, decades of IT infrastructure and policies they don't want to change. So, since we're near the end of the year, my last question is, what do you see coming? Maybe not just in 2026, but maybe where will loyalty programs be in 2030, 2035?
They're going to continue to evolve. I think back to what you started with, the customer is going to drive what this evolution looks like. I think we've got a new customer, Generation X, Generation Z, and as we move on, Y. I'm losing the alphabet as far as the generations these days. I'm too old for that. But essentially, their demands are going to come from what they see and what they expect. And they expect choice. They expect personalization. I'll speak, right from home. My kids can go online today and create anything they want, and it'll look professional. So why shouldn't a brand do the same thing? Why shouldn't the offer Judy gets and Len gets and the next person get be super personalized to them? And we've got the technology to enable it. I think AI is an incredible tool if used properly. The offer should be personalized. We have enough data to know that, not in a way of taking advantage of a customer, but helping them along that journey to say, what, Judy, you check out at Amazon, you like to shop there, you earn in this fashion. By the way, customers who do this would also do this and benefit from that. So again, we have all this data. That's the relationship. And I think customers will expect not just the transactional piece in loyalty, but they're also looking for brands that have the same values. That's such an important thing for them as well. So not just what I can allow you to do, but what do I stand for as a brand, and how do I allow you to kind of live the life you want to live associated with the brand.
It's so true because, once you interact with a brand that knows you, not in a security way, but like, it has taken time to understand what I like, what I don't like. The next time you interact with a brand who doesn't offer that, it's kind of like it's a head turner, because you realize, hey, I want that experience all the time. So, I'm hoping that more retailers and brands start realizing that the consumer is at the forefront of this in a way, and that they don't really have a choice anymore.
Yeah, it's evolve and offer these things, or unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of brands that have been around for close to 100 years die, at least decades that are dying.
Right, because they're not meeting the consumer expectation. Thank you so much for being here, Len. It's been great chatting. So, to our listeners and viewers, please subscribe to the Networld Media Group YouTube channel, and also check it at retailcustomerexperience.com. Sign up for our newsletter. That way you'll never miss another great podcast.